Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is G. Cole, and welcome to Homegrown, where I get to share with you some good music while talking to some great people. Hello, world. Hope you're feeling as good as I am. I want to big up all my homegrown listeners out there and welcome all the new listeners. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do so we can keep you updated when new material is available. We will be posting new episodes bi-weekly. Want to thank everyone who has been listening and sharing. Please leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. Please check out the website homegrownwithgcole.com to listen and for all things homegrown. The podcast is available on iTunes, Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Radio.com, YouTube, wherever you listen to your podcast. We are there. We're also very interactive. Please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at MyGCole. The video of this interview is also available on YouTube. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. This is episode 110, and tonight's guest is Miss Lydia Rose of JACAP, the Jamaica Association of Composers, Authors, and Publishers. Today, I got a special convo coming up because, again, when we talk about the music, I sit here, like I guess I come on all the time, artists, producers, musicians, and whomever, and we talk about the culture and the music and all the ills and the flaws and whatever the case may be, right? And there's one thing I will say. As with everything else, you know how we are. We're always just looking for somebody to point the finger at who's wrong, who's guilty, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, it's not even so much a matter of guilt or innocence, it's a matter of knowledge versus the lack thereof. Sometimes people think that the opposite of education is the lack thereof. Nah, it's miseducation. So sometimes we always want to set the record straight, give everybody opportunity to speak on the stuff, educate us. We've had attorneys on here, entertainment attorneys. We've had the producers. We've had folks from the Grammy. Speaking of which, we're going to have a conversation real soon with actual, not just voting members, but people who work for the Grammys. Email address says @Grammy. You know what I mean? And we're going to talk about it because we all be wilding out every year just about this time, losing our minds. A fire burn everything and everybody because our folks didn't win. And when I say our folks, whomever, no matter who win, we still mad. I'm going all the way back to when I was a child. I don't think ever a Grammy award was given out and somebody wasn't ticked off, right? Wrong person. We are talking about not supposed to go to, you know what I mean? But here's the deal. I'm going to bring those folks on so we can talk about it. And we're going to get the intricacies. We're going to get everything in, all right? So the things we think we know and we don't, we're going to clear up, all right? But, of course, right now we got all kind of things going on. And today it's just a joy to be able to talk to the people behind the scenes, the people in the right spots, you know, the people who, for lack of a better word, ain't that easy to get to. You know what I'm saying? Forget the knowledge. The knowledge is there in them, all right? You just got to seek it out. I won't say seek it out, not necessarily mean Google. Because we the same people talking about the information's at your fingertips. Go grab it online until we start spew some ignorance. Then them tell us, say, well, you can't believe everything you see on the internet. Not true. So here's the deal. It's all about educate. You know what I mean? Not just educate, but educating folks. All right. So we're going to be doing that. And like I said, we got all kind of things going on. I want to big up, of course, all the artists that have reached out and said, man, I want to get on. So my mom get turned up. Not true, but not you. So you got a dope conversation. I don't know what it is, man, but anytime we got fly conversations coming up, my accent just changed. I stopped talking like this. You know what I mean? You swear I'm from London or something. You know what I mean? Not the city. You know what I mean? But behind the rails. You know what I mean? With the tracks close by the ghetto. You know what I mean? You're in the place. They're not disrespecting things. So I won't call nothing. But you don't know. That's how the thing set up. But we have a nice conversation. When I say a nice conversation, I mean a fire one for you. Informative things. Educational things. Inspiring things. We need that. Not you? Not you. So, ladies and gentlemen, my special guest today. Well, go on, Carol. Large up. So good to see you, Carol from Mandeville. Matter of fact, rep where you're from. Tell me where home is. We're going to shout out home. All right? If you're incarcerated, just say the precinct. I joke, man. I hope you're not watching from behind the bars because y'all do something wrong. You know what I mean? Don't violate the terms. Add some more years onto your thing. Don't do it. All right? But again, big up all the musicians, all the artists out there. It's a vibe. It's a vibe. All right. Big up D Wisdom. Going to be gracing that stage this weekend with the legendary Mr. Beresford Hammond. Looking forward to a whole bunch of things. All right. JC Lodge and them. Listen, South Florida's buzzing right about now when it comes to music. JC Lodge. Who else going to be there? Boris Gardner. Trust me. I ain't even going to go no further. Right. There's a legendary things. But here's the deal. Got a convo for you. I want to welcome my special guest, from JACAP. People say, JACAP? What kind of cap that? Not wearing a cap. What kind of thing you're not going with? No, JACAP. All right. And the musicians and so forth will know the Jamaica Association of Composers, Artists, and Publishers. All right. So we're going to be talking to Miss Lydia Rose of Vibe. Let's bring her forward now so we can get the party going. Hola, hola. How are you? Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you. Can you hear me?
Wonderful. Yeah, my HD.
Yes.
You're crystal clear.
Great,
Crystal.
great,
Crystal.
great. Thank you
Great to
for
see you.
having JCap on your show.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Well, it's first time, but it's indeed a pleasure. Hopefully, it's not the last time. I'll tell you even before we start. Platform is open to you. Let me know anytime you have something that you need the world to hear. People need to clear up. We got you. All right.
Thanks for the invite. We will take it up because there's a lot of information out there that we need to speak to. And I
Absolutely.
heard you were talking about it, and you said people are not well, persons are not easy to get to. JCap is very easy to get to. We're there for the knowledge.
Wow. So they said
Yeah,
they just got to reach out, right?
just have to reach out. We have an open door. You can walk in, you can call, you can email, however you want to do it.
Isn't it funny how we hear that a lot when people say, because they say it about me all the time, boy, G Cole, I can't reach you. I'm like, really? I answer all my phone calls, but I guess it's the same thing for you. When people say, I can't reach them,
Yes.
but
When they
they
have issues, they say they
yeah.
can't reach us.
But every other day they reach you Monday through Friday. If they can't reach you Saturday night at midnight, you said they're unreachable. So I'm gonna get right in. I'm gonna get right in. For
Yes,
those people, a
yes.
lot of people, some people know because we have a lot of artists, producers, musicians, and stuff like that
Mhm.
watch a program. But what exactly is the Jamaica Association of Composers, Artists, and Publishers?
Okay. So JCAP, which is the acronym, what we do, we are a collective society.
Mhm.
And when we say collective, we mean a collective. We are a member organization. We were incorporated in 1998 to take over from the PRS, which is the Performing Rights Society in the UK. And as everyone knows, JCAP was a colony of the UK. Of And at that point, a lot of persons would think that copyright has just started. Copyright has been around from 1826. And you had the PRS operating in Jamaica since then. And in 1998, a group of industry players felt that it was about time that Jamaica had its own national society. And they came together and they formed JCAP. At that time, there were quite other players who wanted to come into the industry with to form societies, but it was for that those societies would be for profit, and the
Right.
players felt that no, that would not be appropriate. Because it needs to be a member organization and the members need to benefit, not anybody but the members should benefit. So that is really how JCAP came about in 1998. And we have been operating since, doing very well, growing each year. And, looking out not only for our members, because persons would don't really understand that in almost in every country that have a copyright act, there is a similar society. So everyone is familiar with ASCAP, the BMI, and the PRS because they are the bigger societies. SACEM in France, JazzRack in in um, in Japan, etc. But JCAP, we are also part of a regional body, the Association of Caribbean Copyright Societies, where all the other societies, COSCAP in Barbados, COT in Trinidad, and in St. Lucia, we all come together to say, let us be regional and look about the interest of the region. So we are not unique, and what we do is not unique. It is an international standard that we go by.
I love that. I love that. Um, I'm here in South Florida, so of course, for me, I'm a BMI member. Some
Yeah,
people are
yes.
ASCAP. You know what I mean? Like I said, we have the
Mhm,
PRS and we have JCAP. And as I spoke to or continue to speak to a lot of musicians, a lot of
mhm.
artists and stuff like that, it sounds like they're not as in tune with JCAP as are other people in other parts of the world with their associations. So, for example, the folks here seem to be way in tune with BMI, ASCAP, whatever the case may be. But when I talk to my artists, they seem not to be as in tune. And if they are, don't get me wrong, the artists and so forth may know what it is, but the relationship ain't exactly as my cousin that we going to the barbecue. You know what I mean? It always sounds like there's a little bit of a riff on whatever. And like I said earlier, sometimes when I speak to everybody, I feel like everybody's got a different vantage point, a different viewpoint, and I feel like there's a lot of lack of info in the middle there. Is that the vibe you get when you walk out in these streets? And I mean, you wear your JACAP shirt out in the streets?
Of course.
And when the people run up on you, and
proudly. And in fact, we are known. I mean, you have the other side of it. We're going to concentrate tonight on speaking about the members side, but you have the other side, which is the users who use the music, and that's who we collect from. And we are known to them as the music police because, we go at them hard in order to collect so our members can get money. But in terms of members, and you say not being tuned, we came up in a culture where things overseas is better than what things that is at yard. And I grew up also in that culture. And the majority of the big players back in the days were members of PS. And when JACAP formed, some persons came over, but the majority stayed. Some persons did split membership. Right? Because the board decided, okay, let's try to facilitate as many Jamaicans as possible. But the fact of the matter is, JACAP has you can walk into JACAP and ask any question, right? And we are obligated to respond once you're a member. If you join BMI, are you going to take the plane to go to BMI? And what BMI do you know that you can just walk into BMI? I am part of the industry of collecting society, and unless I make an appointment, if I go to New York, I can't walk into BMI.
Nope.
Right? And you can't walk into ASCAP either, right? But you can walk into JACAP and you can ask, and I have facilitated many of the big artists. But just to say, we don't represent artists, we represent the songwriters, the writers of the song, and musicians. But for argument's sake, we'll say artists. I've sat with them, I have gone down the whole gambit of copyright with them, but there's and they appreciate it and say, I'm glad I came, etc. And they will join JACAP, and then they'll come and say, okay, you know what, my publisher is with BMI, so I'm going to join BMI. And that is a lot of story. Or my producer is overseas, and they say that I am to join BMI, etc. But our door is still open, and for whatever reason, we know that we have 4,207 members strong, and I know that they appreciate what we do for them. And also, person must remember that. And when you say, okay, I'm going to join BMI, ASCAP, seeing that they are the well-known one, etc. We represent BMI and ASCAP members in Jamaica. We collect for them. We have reciprocal with all these major societies. So if they can entrust us to collect for their members overseas, we must be doing something good, because they themselves can come to Jamaica and get agents and do whatever it is. They don't have to sign a reciprocal with us. But we have had reciprocal with these societies from JACAP, came about from 1999, and some from 2000, and we have done well by ensuring that their members get their money, just as though we ensure that our members get their money. So we always say, but if we can do it for them, why can't we do it for you?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Understand completely. And it's funny, that term you said that is used, which is the music police. I actually love the term, because I believe in policing in aspect. If that's gonna bring my revenue my way, police the thing on you.
Yes.
So
we have to. Yes.
You gotta do what you gotta do. And from all ways, when those things happen, then there's always, like I said, there's different vantage points, right?
Correct.
I could see the radio folks, I could see the event promoters, and I could see the concert venues, looking out the side eye to see if Lydia come around the corner, because you're coming, you come page for the thing. But the artists are supposed to have that viewpoint. Artists are supposed to depend. Lydia, could you please go knock on the door over there? So can they be playing my joints up in that club, and my brother need his money?
But that's what collecting societies are for. Because can you imagine, Sunfest want to have their concert, and they have to go and get lawyers from every jurisdiction, as if you're doing a trademark or a patent, to get permission for whatever music is to be played, for them to use. It just would not happen. And that is why the societies are there, and we act as the middleman to ensure that the users are able to get the repertoire to use, and the members are able to get their money when their repertoire is used. But the expectation of members, that also we have to manage.
All right, so let's slide it again to the side of the artists, because we talk about, you mentioned it was 4,000 plus
4,000.
artists, or I shouldn't say artists, members that you
No,
have so far.
right. And again, we do not represent artists.
Songwriters.
Songwriters, the
Right.
lyricist, the composer, and the publisher of the music.
And hopefully artists are writing their own stuff so that
Yeah.
they
Yes,
will
and
be
we do,
considered.
because Beenie Man is the artist, but we don't represent Beenie Man. We represent Moses Davis, the writer,
Man, I like that. I
right?
like that.
And etc. And those are the writers themselves, are the persons in the background. Because remember, even in the US, you have persons who are just writers.
Yep.
That's how they earn.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
that's the same. Again, Jamaica is not unique. We have persons who pitch their songs to the artist and they use them. And those are the persons who represent the unsung heroes, the persons who actually write the song. Because one of our members always said that the song make it the singer don't make the song. Without a good song,
True.
you understand? And the song quality and the song is king. If it is well written and etc., then that is what stand the test of time. Most of the songs now that is being sampled, etc., are songs that have stand the test of times, and those were well written. So those are the unsung heroes that we represent. Not the celebrity that is on stage, because we talk about users. Our users will say, but why are you collecting? Because them don't have money already. And I have to say, no.
Right.
The person who is performing is not who we represent.
Right,
so you
right.
see the celebrity and think that, okay, they're already rich. So I have in my little cookout in Jamaica and I don't need to pay because the man have his money already. No, we represent someone in the community whose son is just like your son, but that is his profession, being a songwriter. And he also needs to earn so he can feed his kids. Those are the persons we represent. And that is what we try for persons to understand so that we can get them to pay.
I love that, and I always want that to be explained to the masses whomever don't have a full understanding of it. Because to be perfectly honest with you, and I like the tagline, so I'm gonna keep using it. If the music police doing what they're supposed to do, then later on in life, when you are no longer physically able to perform that song, when you're no longer, probably not even here, the revenues from that are still there. You haven't lost that. Again, if the stuff is going how it's supposed to go. You mentioned again the 4,000 plus members, right?
Right.
I guarantee that's not a fraction of and I keep going back to the artists because it's just our culture. When it comes to other genres, we kind of split up a little bit more. But we have 4,000 plus members. But when it comes to artists / songwriters / musicians / producers, we have about 100,000 of them. One pop up every Tuesday, right? So tell me why, in your opinion, why is it that more people aren't registered with JACAP?
Okay, so another clarification. There is 2 music societies in Jamaica. You have JACAP, that we represent the musical works, but then you have JAMS that represent the producers. Okay, so even though you have say 1,000 producers in Jamaica, we would not represent them, and unless the producer is also a writer, then we would represent. And then you have, surprisingly, those persons who still sign contracts for 100% for their publisher to represent their interest. Right. And you still have those well-known artists, celebrities, who is not signed with a society. When we do our distribution, we can see we have our system, which is digital. put money into no society for persons who are no society. And we go through that listing to look up for Jamaicans. And invariably, we find artists, big artists in there, who is a member of no society. Of course, that's our opportunity to call them and to let them and to get them to become a member. And quite a few of them have become a member. So suffice it to say, there are various reasons why you would say if we have 10,000 industry players, we only have 4,000, because for various reasons, they are not member of JACAP. And also 50% of those who are not members, what I said when I started, are members of the other societies. But we still represent their interests through reciprocals.
Gotcha. Now, when it comes to any form of union, administrations, any form of entities that work on behalf of the populace, there's generally dues, allocated with that, because the machine's got to keep turning, right?
Yeah.
And from my vantage point, I always feel like that's where people get worried. It's like people feel like, okay, the police need to go out there and do the job, but the dues that keeps the thing going, I got a little issue with that, right? Talk to me a little bit. When somebody comes in and say, all right, Lydia, talk to me them to me and say the dues and whatever the case may be, what's the response you're normally, faced with?
Well, the first response is we are able to say we are doing, and we're able to show what we are doing. But again, our members, they need to take responsibility for their side of it, because it's a partnership. Okay, we are not in the studio when you're creating your song. We are not overseas when you're touring. So we usually say, okay, we have notification of works form. We created a copyright sheet where when you go to the studio, you can have everybody sign. So this is the splits, etc., etc. And we send out memo, we send out reminders, everything. We have forums. Most importantly, we have a forum for our members every quarter. And through that means we advise, just send us the notification of works, sign the notification of works, telling us the works that you would have performed.
Right.
So that we can pay you. And invariably, most persons think that once they come and sign, that's it. They just think that, okay, JACAP is supposed to know that I went and I'm the one who did this hit song, etc., etc. We cannot know. I mean, we do, as you said, what we do, because once there is money on it and we see that your name is on it, we will call you and we sort it out for you to get paid. But until then, we don't know that you are on that work. And also, we also need to know so that we can register it in the international database that we have access to. So that, just as how we collect in Jamaica, all the other societies, the BMI, etc., throughout the world can collect and send your money to us here in Jamaica. And the beauty about JACAP is that whatever money we collect in whatever currency, that's what we pay you in. So if we collect in US, you're getting it in US. If we collect in pound, you're getting it in pound. We do that for our members.
Right.
Other things that we have to do is once we get paid, we get the money, we ensure that we do our distribution in a timely manner. So we do distributions March for incoming and the general for what we collect in August and in November. Okay. How do we do our distribution? We do not do it manual. We have a digital system called COSYST. That's what we had before. We have just migrated now to WIPO Connect, the World Intellectual Property Office, their system, so that whichever step we take going up the ladder, we ensure that we are going higher and ensuring that whatever we do for our members is what we are supposed to do. So with the World Intellectual Property WIPO Connect system, of course, that will be so transparent that anything that our member wants to see, it will be on the statement. Not only do we have a digital system for stage, we also have a digital system for monitoring. So although the music police has to go out and audit events, etc., we have a system called BMAT that does our auditing of all our media houses, the 30 media houses in Jamaica. And we use that to pay on. not only do we use the monitoring system, we also use the logs that comes from the radio station, because we say, okay, the members do not invariably upload their MP3 into the system. So let us ensure that our members get paid by still facilitating paper logs. And that's what we use to do our statements. Once the statement is done, then they get paid.
Gotcha.
So that's what we do.
Now, again, the different sides of the music industry, the creatives, the creators, and then we have the distributors. When we talk about distributors, we're talking about those people who sell the music, but another big heavy set of distributors are those people who play the music. We talk about the bars and other venues like those, as well as radio itself,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Now, talk to me a little bit about, because I know radio stations are supposed to report what they play. Right. How forthright, I mean, radio stations, they benefit more than anybody else from the music, right? So how forthright are radio stations with what's being played so that they can pay their fair share to organizations like JACAP?
Interestingly enough, I would say 80% of our radio stations are digital. So they have all upgraded where they can capture whatever is being played. So they send us digital formats. No longer, about 4 radio stations give us things that they write down. Okay, so once your work is played or your song, it is captured. And this is where I said before that expectations have to be managed, because our members will think that, okay, I have a hit song in Jamaica, so I should be getting X amount. But however, if it is that radio station play 10,000 songs within a week, right? And they pay us $1 million. That's pennies on the dollar you'll be getting, right? Another thing that is important, that JACAP, our sample rate is 25%, whereas internationally sample rates are 5%. The ASCAP, the BMI, etc., they only do 5% of sample rates. That's what they pay on. While we, each week in every month, we ensure that that entire week forms part of our sample rate. And that is how we pay. Another thing that is of importance is that we are part of the international bodies, and we report to CSAC. That's the head, okay? And we are mandated that our admin rate should not be above 30%. Of course, COVID would have done that. But over the past 5 years, our admin rate has been below 30%. And JACAP do not, and I say categorically, do not take 30% off the bats or just take it off. We cannot. We are not allowed to. It has to be by our expenses. Or if our expenses 20%, that's what comes off. Then the writers get everything else. We do not make a profit, okay? If it's 27, 28, that is how we arrive at our admin rate. And we are audited. We are audited by international auditors. Previously, our auditors were KPMG. We now use BDO. So everything we do is with transparency and to ensure that we are doing it correct for our members. So our admin rate is as per our expenses. And that's the only thing we are allowed to take out is our administrative rate.
Okay. Earlier on, we were talking about membership dues. What's the difference in terms of dues for membership versus admin rates?
Okay. So to join the society, you pay a fee, a one-time fee. So once you pay this fee, that's it. It's not yearly like some societies of 2,500 Jamaica for writer members and 12,500 for publisher member. And once you have done that, that is just it. You do not pay anything else. And you are a member of the society for life. And we also have where successor members can join if it is that you die. Okay, so which is totally different from the admin rate, which is the expenses to run the society. And in fact, the board took a decision when the society started that the membership fee that we collect do not form part of our income or admin or expenses. It is set aside to deal with anything for the members. Currently, we have a death benefit that we pay from it. So if you die, then your family can be able to not comfortable, but based on what we give, able to get something from JCAP to bury you. So the membership fee is separate, which is used to deal with things. If you have a forum, etc., to deal with those things for our members.
Okay. So if somebody doesn't do the dues, sign up as a member, JCAP is not necessarily out there collecting dues and collecting royalties on their behalf. And if they then become a member later on, then things are retroactive. You don't start acting on that that songwriter's behalf until the moment they become a member, correct?
That's correct. Or we represent you through the reciprocal from overseas societies.
Right. Got you. Got you.
Right. And as we say, and as we talk about reciprocal, again, another thing with JCAP is that reciprocal recruitment goes back 3 years internationally from our ed body state that, but JCAP invariably do 5 years. So we still try to look out for persons in Jamaica who would have missed not joining, but they can recoup going back.
No, okay, because that's another thing that comes up a lot is the 3-year statute, pretty much, which is what is here and in other countries overseas. JCAP going 5
We
does
go 5.
now the 5 is that protecting them 5 years for royalties recouped from Jamaican media houses, or is that still international? Do you have that kind of clout with the BMIs and the ASCAPs that you're going 5 years with them, or are we talking about 5 years from Jamaica?
5 years in Jamaica. But what we do at times, once we know that you would have performed or your song was played, we do send it to them. And at times, if it is, they do pay us.
Okay.
So we have to also, but again, you have to tell us. We cannot collect if we don't know what is out there to collect.
And when you say tell us, you're talking about in terms of my split sheets, my paperwork and stuff like
that. Your paperwork. Totally in regards to your paperwork. And of course, in Jamaica, there's a lot of time there's discrepancy.
Right.
One person would have registered the song before you came in and register. Okay? And a lot of times you have persons saying, okay, I own 100%, but they don't know how to play the music. Right? And the musician would come in 2-3 years after and say, no, but I was the one who played the music. And that also have to be sorted out. And if you do not come in, as you write your song and you have made your agreement, you would have lost out on that income.
Right. There are many folks who there are discrepancies with how their material is registered, right? I've experienced it myself. Producer took stuff, registered it another way and so forth. If somebody's a member of JCAP, do you help and work on their behalf to help them rectify situations like those? Are you only in the business of?
No, we go the gambit. Of course, internationally we have to put whatever that song is on hold, right? In escrow until it's sorted out. But we do try as much as possible to go the gambit to assist you to sort it out. We have had issues where we have called in persons who are members, persons who are non-members. We have mediated and we have had the problem solved. So we're not just there to collect. As I said, we're also there to ensure that our members collect. It's not JCAP collecting, we collect on behalf of the members. And if you have an issue and we can't pay you, then we also have an issue and we have to sort it out. Now, if it is that it reached the courts, then there's nothing we can do.
Understand. Yeah. Is JCAP considered to be is JCAP a government agency in Jamaica?
No, we're not a government agency. We're registered as a limited liability company, not for profit, just as the PRS and the ASCAP. Okay? However, in 2015, the Copyright Act law was changed where we will be, regulated, monitored, but the regulation has not yet passed. But even with being regulated by government, we are not a government entity.
So you are a private entity.
We're a private entity.
Do you find that many people, and again, like I have the conversation on a daily, and here's the thing about having conversation, speak to 5 people about the same thing, 5 total different. Everybody thinks they know, right? Do you find that many people out there think that JCAP is the government?
Of course. And here my voice went down, of course. And as I said, we are the music police. The culture in Jamaica is now, it once it's government, they pay. So that is one myth we don't debunk easily.
Right, right, right. Now, what's the likeliness though, right? Because here's one thing from the beginning of time. I'm 44,
Yes.
right? And I know people who are 99, right? Jamaica, we ain't got no trust for the government, none whatsoever, and rightfully so. Do you find that that's probably what's brushing off on JACAP in terms of people they judge JACAP based on first of all, you got Jamaica as your first name. So if Jamaica your first name, then it kind of automatically comes up on you being government. So do you think that the mistrust that's levied in your direction is coming because then things say Jamaica your father?
Can I tell you, the
Mm-hmm.
mistrust is just there glaringly. It's not only that.
Mm-hmm.
It starts from the industry itself.
Right.
Because remember, persons in the industry always have the fear that someone is trying to not pay them, from back in the days when the artists, the songwriters, etc. So they were robbed by the producers, etc. So that's the first mistrust that we have to get over. And I think JACAP has done well and is doing well in that department. And then the second mistrust is when you, as government, as you say, when you collect the money, how do we know where it goes? How do we know that you are actually paying who you say you pay?
Mm-hmm.
I had a user, one of those big companies, who actually sent their lawyers before one of the big hotels, before they started to pay us. They send their lawyer to our office to sit
Mm-hmm.
and look at the payments, the payment. We had to show them that we pay ASCAP. We had to show them that we send money to PRS. We had to show some of the members that we pay, etc. And then they started paying. We have had no problem. We have even gone as far since then to have be able to have uh, an agreement with the JSTA, right? And their members gladly pay us. The financial institutions gladly pay us. Majority of the business gladly pay because they know exactly what we're about and what we do. The issue we have is with the players in the event sector.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's the
Live
issue we
music,
have.
live music.
Not even so much live music, but like the DJs in
Okay.
the party
Clubs and
scene,
whatnot. Mm.
the party scene. Because in Jamaica we're the party city. So
Yep.
even
Yep.
with COVID, party was keeping, nobody was earning, but they were keeping their party,
Right.
right? So
Right.
those are the persons who would invariably do not want to pay.
I understand.
Yes, yes.
You mentioned a little earlier that at the moment, private entity, but it is highly likely in the near future that government will become involved as far as regulations and so forth, right?
Correct, correct.
Now, from your vantage point, because policies are integral in any process that you need, not just music, but for any process to become mandated, there's got to be a process for which the government has to get involved and get those policies on the way. Uh, from a JCAP standpoint, how scary is it, or is it at all, that the government is about to get involved
Not
in what
scary
you
at
do?
all.
It's
Not
not.
scary at all. No, we welcome it. Because again, the trust factor.
Mhm.
It will lend itself to the fact that, okay, government know that what we are doing is above board. Government now knows that when we collect,
Mhm.
it is paid out. Not only, therefore, will we have to satisfy our obligations to our sister societies and our international body, we now have to satisfy the government of Jamaica. So we welcome it, in fact. We welcome it. Because, in fact, I think that will also enable more persons to start paying. So members will benefit with more money coming in.
And do you think that once you guys become, I don't want to use the word a government entity, but whatever that relationship will be,
Yes.
do you think it will breed more trust for people to become a member of JCAP, or more skepticism?
I think it will be more trust because one of the part of the regulation that of course, we had consultation, etc., and what the regulation would be, is that there's an appeals process. The members can complain to that entity of the government that will be regulating us, and they'll be able to air their grows. Although currently JACAP does have an appeal process, but of course having an outside appeals process is much better than an internal one. So that would be there and be offered to them. So whatever it is, and the users as well will have that process that they can go through. So again, I think that would breed more trust.
Gotcha. Does JCAP have any influence at all, or is it the opposite when it comes to material being aired on the radio? Because again, we talk about, people talk, radio play is very, very important. We have this tendency to act like it's not because of the advent of social media, right? But radio to me is, it's the hits still get broken on the radio. Now, does JCAP have any influence? It's like, if me sign up with JCAP, is the DJ going to say, I play a G Code record because I'm never going to pay a JCAP? Or JCAP going to be like, yo, play my people's record, baby? Does it go either way, left, right, or center? Any influence or the lack thereof?
No influence. And let me tell you why. We have to be totally unbiased when it comes to users and what they and the works, the songs that they use. We one of the mantra of CSAC is that we cannot discriminate against any member, any user. So therefore, and we are collecting as well. So therefore, if it is that we would have any influence, then all our members will say, but why is my song not playing? Why is it only G Cole song is playing? Why is it you don't go down to Irie and tell them that they need to play our song, and etc., etc. So we can't do that. We have to stay very neutral and allow the users to choose what they want to use. And when we get the money, we pay on that. The only thing that I would say, though, is that JCAP is very concerned, and we have been lobbying that we try to have more of our Jamaican songs being played on the radio than what pertains now. So we are lobbying for quota content. But what is being played, we cannot go there. But in terms of the amount of local music to be played on the radio as against foreign music, that we are lobbying for.
Let's talk about that a little bit, because I recall you said in an interview that JCAP pays out significantly. When I say significantly, a great disproportionate amount of money to foreign musicians in adverse to local musicians. And let's go back, songwriters, right? Because that's what we're representing. Correct. But we're paying out more money, or you're paying out more money to folks that are foreign than those that are domestic, right? Is that more so from the vantage point that, which we've always seen, radio in Jamaica don't play enough of our music, or is there any play in it that, they have a stronger reach in JCAP because they're foreign? You know what I mean? And in other words, what I mean pretty much is JCAP collects not only on behalf of local artists, but you're collecting on behalf of non-local
international artists.
International artists. Correct. Talk to me a little bit about that.
All right. So we have to look at both sides. Remember, some of our Jamaican songwriters are members of the BMI and the ASCAP. So I also say, I tend to say at times, when we send money overseas, we are also sending for our own Jamaican. Understand? So if it is that we are sending, and we report each time that we're sending between 65% to 70%, local Jamaicans are also part of it. But invariably, we pay more to foreign societies and foreign songwriters, because of the 30 media houses that we have, only 4 play full local music at any point in time.
Right.
So that is 26 playing foreign music at any point in time, and more foreign music than local. Because I think the ratio is 70-30 for some, and 60-40 for some. But whichever way you take it, and you have stations currently that play only foreign music with only 5% being local. right? So that's where we have a serious problem. So for us to retain any of the economic value that we collect here in Jamaica, we have to, and we would have to lobby, like Canada has it, Nigeria, quite a few countries have it, and it has worked for them. Canada have used their content quota to develop their music industry to the point where they're competing with America in regards to exporting their culture, right? Quite a few, the Justin Bieber, the Drake, they're all Canadian grown, homegrown, right? And then they went to the US, Nigeria, that has their quota content, has Bollywood, and has a strong music industry that can contend with. Okay, so if reggae, which is one of the genres that are of the more stronger genres out in the international field, why is it we can't have it, more of it being played here? And when I say reggae, I mean all of the local genres, dancehall, etc., that we have. That is what we should ensure that is done to actually retain not only economic value, but also the value that the youngsters will understand that, and take it as their own, right? Not the hip hop. And I mean, I was talking to two youngsters just yesterday when I went to give a presentation out at Olabo police station. Again, being the police. You see, music police in
Can't
police
help it.
station, giving, you know, talking to the
Wow.
community. Yes, that's what we have to do. And on
Got
a
to do what you got to
Sunday,
do. You
right?
got to
And
do what
on
you
a
got to do.
Sunday, right? And one person was saying, well, I listen to mostly to hip hop, so I can't really speak to what you're about. And I had to take some time, just a few minutes, because he was good, to advise him that, no, man, you need to listen to your own, embrace what it is that we have given to the world, embrace it. And then no one is saying that that has to be the be all and end all of the music, because from growing up, I understand that our music was influenced by the BB Cole, all of those first time Americans, etc. But those artists in back in the days didn't embrace the American culture and the R&B and say, okay, that's all we want. They took it, listened to it, and they made it something else of their own. Okay, so we're saying if we have given the world this strong genre of music that persons just, I mean, we sell out events. I went to Rotterdam Splash, and I was shocked at the amount of people was just there for the 3 days just listening to what Jamaica has produced.
Right.
So if that is the case, why not ensure that it is done here in Jamaica? I mean, the contra to what we would want is that person saying, but these radio stations and these media outlets, they're private, so we can't tell them what to do. Yes, we can. We don't have to tell them what to do, but we can ensure that they do in the interest of Jamaicans.
Right.
Yeah.
So JCAP, I will not go use the word pressure or strong arm because they're a little hostile. JCAP is on behalf of its members trying to put a little nudging on these entities to play a little bit more so we can get a little bit more revenue from them. I always wonder though, because anytime things happen, again, we levy our blame on our grievances in the direction that we 9 times out of 10 wrong direction, but whatever direction is closest. Why is it that most people don't take up their grievances with the radio stations and the entities that are not playing the music enough, or not reporting properly what they are playing in adverse to the music police who's out there trying to, you know what I mean, handcuff the thing for them and bring it home?
Remember when I started, I said they won't take a plane and go to ASCAP. They can't, they won't either go into the music. Oh, so of course, because we are the representation, we are the middleman. And as we said, our door is open.
Right.
They will come to us. And perception, because on a previous program, the perception is that, okay, one of your persons who made presentation, okay, JACAP, it's probably not the best thing out there. I won't say what was said, But we are the best thing out there, because the fact of the matter is we do ensure that we try our best to represent, and whatever we collect, we do ensure that if it's a penny or a pound, it goes in the hand of the member. However, the member, if he gets the penny, which is what is really due to him, he wants the pound. Okay? And then that is when we become the bad guys.
Right.
We're thieving the money. We're doing this. But I say to every member and any member, you can come into JACAP. We are an open book. Our articles allow you to come in and look at how your statement and how we arrived at it. Because if it is that your song was played 3 times and BMAT picked it up 3 times and RGR picked it up only 3 times, we cannot say it was played 10 times and pay you accordingly. We have to pay you only the 3 times. And we have digital records. And when I said digital records, in-house, to show that that is exactly how much of your song was played.
Right. Right. Now, okay. So what I'm gathering from what you're saying is pretty much members, and to be honest with you, as I speak to folks, it's funny. The more gripes and grievances that I've gotten are not from members, which is normally the case. You know what I'm saying? Normally, it's not from members. The people who I've spoken to who are members, and I'm just being 100% honest, don't express as much grievance as those people who are not members, right? But I guess I'm normal something that. No, based on what you're saying, and I'm trying to make sure I understand, is that what folks are asking JACAP to do is to pretty much go out there and recoup this revenue, recoup our royalties and stuff like that, and bring it back 100% and don't take anything out of it, right? It's pretty much what is being asked of you.
Exactly. I've heard that. And then they say, but why is it your admin rate is 25% and why is it is 20%? But still yet, I can tell you quite categorically, I would say to them, okay, especially those who are split members, do you ask BMI why their rate is X? And they're in a society of 300 million persons. So if their rate is 10% and JACAP is 25 with 2 million people, we are doing well.
Right.
We are doing extremely well to keep our costs down, right? For you to get 75% of what we collect.
Right.
Extremely well. So the fact of the matter is, you can't go there and collect it for yourself. The organization is collecting it for you. So we have to have an admin rate. We have to have our expenses. We have overhead expense, just like any business. We have line items expense. We have salaries that we have to pay because persons are there doing what they're supposed to do. And interestingly, one member said to me, but my song is playing in the UK. Why don't you take a plane to go over there and collect it? And the knowledge base of persons who are in the industry is
Free
what
plane.
we are trying to change, because you cannot be a member of JACAP and don't understand that we have reciprocal. We don't have to go to the UK.
Right.
Right? PRS is there and sending here on your behalf. And when we ask, what is the radio station in the UK so we can reach out to PRS to collect? No, man, it's every station out there playing it. It's every station.
Yeah. Yeah.
You understand? And the expectation is that. And then when they come and they say, okay, I only get $1,000. Why I don't get 2,000? Because Irie and RGR and all the stations are playing my music. And when we take out and we say, when was it played? And when we draw for the logs and the digital information and show them, they can't show us where that's being played. I remember a member who came and said, we had an annual general meeting and he made the most noise. And I invited him to come in the office to look. And he said, okay, this station is where all my music is being played. So I should have. And when I showed him the logs, he was shocked. Right? And I never heard anything more out of that member.
Right.
at
Well,
any other AGM. So all I'm saying is expectations,
mhm.
expectations. And you have those persons out there who think they know everything, and then they guide the persons down the wrong path. And they don't come for the knowledge, but they are
That's not what we
imparting
do.
knowledge.
That's not what we do. That's not what we do.
Right? No, no, because they think that they know it and they don't come for the knowledge, but they're imparting knowledge.
Well,
And
let
that
me ask
is
you
a
this.
problem in the industry.
How confident are you that there is no discrepancy between the action of the songs being played and the logs that you're getting, the data that you're receiving? Because at the end of the day, that's always a question. And don't get me wrong, it's not a question for JCAP. It's also a question that I've lived toward BMI and other institutions. So how confident are you that those logs that you're getting are true and accurate representations of the spins that these records are getting on radio?
I would have said to you 15 years ago that my confidence level would not have been where it is, because then we were only getting logs from the radio station. So whatever they gave us, we would have to accept it. But currently, as I said, we have a digital system. So whatever is being played, that is what the digital system picks up. Okay, we call it digital fingerprint. And ASCAP have their own, BMI have their own, and almost all societies now who are any player in and ensuring that their members get what they are to get have their own digital system. And we currently use BMAT, which is a Spanish company. So and their system is used quite throughout the world, through other societies. So I can stand and say I am very confident, right? Because we are not using the paper statement from the radio stations anymore. Okay, to the point where those same logs are what we would submit to court to say, this is what we have. And we have done that, and the court have accepted it.
Gotcha. Now, you had mentioned also that, if needs be and when needs be, audits are done. There's transparency methods that are in place for folks. So if you have your people out there who are, as of course we don't question it all. Do they have access at all to those logs? The general, your members, will they? It's because again, if everybody's questioning everything and they say, listen to there, boy, I'm gonna know in my tune a big tune, right? I'm here to play on every station around the world, right? Two on the moon too. So I think turn up. And you say, well, the logs represent such and such, and this you are then conveying to them via the phone or whatever the case may be, what these logs have brought in.
Yes.
Is there any transparency to where they can say, okay, is it okay for me to audit?
Of course. As I said, we are a members organization. The organization, when it was formed, was not private. So we have a board of directors, we have 9 writer members, and we have 5 publisher members, who the members at AGM elect to run the business of the organization. So I have to also report to them, me and my staff, my team, okay? And any member can walk into JCAP and say, okay, can I see the logs for RGR or IRI for the past 4 or 5 years? It's there. They can see it.
What about international?
No, well, we can't show them international logs. What we can do is to request of our international partners to say, okay, on this day and at this time, our members said that his music was played. And they do it for us too. They send and say, okay, our members say at this day, at this time, their music was played, etc. Can you identify and send us the log? And they will gladly do it. I mean, we have had that situation already. We have had where we have big international Jamaican artist who is signed with other societies, perform in Jamaica, and the society write us and said our artist has performed at Sunfest at this day, this time. When are we going to be paid? And we have to respond.
Right.
And we have to say, well, Sunfest paid us, or Sunfest did not pay us. So we can't pay, or we can pay. We have to do that because we are accountable. We are collecting people's money members, persons' money. So we have to be accountable to these persons, not only local again, but also international.
So the key here, what I'm gathering pretty much is this: there's a lot of information there. There's a lot of information that can be at your disposal.
Mhm.
There is you guys are very, very interactive. You are forthcoming and forthright with information. They can get the information they need. They can get knowledge in advance of the information that they want and after.
Mhm.
But the reality of it is there's one keyword or key part of it that's missing. You got to be a member. So I presume that there's a host of people out there that want some information and say, JACAP, free up the thing, give me the info to this and that, but they are not members. So those requests are falling upon deaf ears, and rightfully so. Is it safe to say that that's what we're talking
No,
about here?
I would not say that, because if you're a Jamaican
Mm-hmm.
and you call JACAP
Mm-hmm.
and you ask for me or any of my staff, majority of those calls my staff would put to me, I educate you. Even if after educating you, you want to go and join BMI or
Right.
ASCAP or PRS. But the fact of the matter is, I have a responsibility to educate you on the music industry, and more importantly, collective management and how it flows. What I cannot do is to say, okay, I collected this on your behalf, or you can come and register a song so we can collect on your behalf, etc., because you are not a member. But anything else as to how collective management is and how and where you fit in, that information I gladly impart.
Right.
Because we
Awesome.
do go out and do public, we have public forums, we have community, and we that's how we also get membership. When we
Right.
go to the different communities and speak and advise them about collective management and encourage them to join. So that is something that JCAP do and will readily do.
Awesome. And that segues into something that I wanted to ask about too, pretty much is over the years, we've seen a lot. Our artists have suffered a lot. You know what I mean? The analogy I use all the time is the harder they come. I say that's pretty much the blueprint. That's what's been happening since then, um, to this day, to some degree till now, right? But educating our artists, our musicians, our producers, etc., is very necessary. And I would like to presume that JCAP subscribes to that theory also. Does
Yes.
JCAP do host any major events, doing anything to implement or educate our artists, our producers, our songwriters, so we can kind of remedy that age-old issue that we're running into of or which in 2022 could be that age-old excuse that
Mhm.
we don't have the info and we're uneducated and we don't have the, you know, I mean, the knowledge of stuff. What's JCAP doing or planning on doing, if at all, to help with the education for the
Yeah.
artists?
In 2017, if I'm not incorrect, 2018, COVID was 2019.
Mhm.
We had a 5-day workshop. We called it the business of music.
Mhm.
We went as far as it was funded by the Caribbean Development Bank, right? We had presenters both locally and from overseas. We had a lawyer even from as far as the UK to come and present on contracts. We had local producers like Jeremy Ardin presented on recording, how persons are to properly record. We had various presenters presenting on all the facets of the industry. We had two-person all the way from Norway and one from Spain to come in. They came and they spoke about how you do distribution, how you get your product to the market, how to get your products ready for Womex. One of the person was part of Womex, etc. So to answer your question quite bluntly, we do. We spend members' money to educate both members and the non-members once you're Jamaican and in Jamaica on the industry, not just our little part about collective management, but on the entire gambit of the starting process to the ending process. And we have done that. And
Wow.
we will continue to do that.
Amazing. Amazing. Um, I've had folks, and to be perfectly honest with you, I get music sent to me every day, a lot. I'm also a consumer of music. I listen to a lot of places, a lot of entities, and truth be told, a lot of artists are disillusioned. I'll say it, right. Um, I hear every artist that I know in South Florida that has made a trip to the UK once use phrases like London, I'm a place, my tune them bigger UK, right? And stuff like that. Song played one time, two times, right? How much of it do you think is disillusionment for artists or songwriters to think that the songs are getting as much traction as they have in their imagination? Because, and I speak from my own vantage point, I get people telling me all the time how much records and traction, how much traction the records are getting. And to be honest with you, on radio, when I listen to radio, be it Caribbean radio and stuff like that, there is probably 5 or 6 artists that have consistent and heavy radio rotation. How disillusioned are some of our artists?
I will give you an example. If it is, I mean, 2 days ago, last week Thursday, I think, or Friday, we got the news that Dawn Penn No was certified gold. And it was certified gold because it sold 300,000.
Right.
Right? No, just consider the UK population. Right? And 300,000 certified gold.
Right.
And if you can recall, that song has been released years and years and years ago.
Right.
And it was just certified gold. Right? 300,000.
Right.
So I use that example to say a lot of disillusion. And I won't say disillusion like you, but I will say expectations. Their expectations are just too high.
Unrealistic.
Because, yes, it's unrealistic because they hear the song just go out and it's getting a few airplay and my boss, and then they don't realize that. But over time, it's not getting airplay. Over time, the income is going to drop, right? It's not, unless you continuously do, as I said before, a good song that is sustainable, right? We have a writer who was in the industry for 30 years. And the most money he has made, well, which JACAP collected on his behalf, was when his song was sampled by Kanye West. Okay? Now,
Right.
this is and this is someone who is almost 60, if not older.
Right.
And the most money he said it to us, and he came in and he thanked us, right? That the most money he has collected in the industry is through a sample by Kanye West. Not when his song was being played back in the days, not when he was touring and doing so well, by a sample. So again, it goes down to education and educating yourself on what it is that and the different income stream. And we always say, publishing and collective management is pension, right? It's just there. You get it just a little by little over time, not the lump sum, right? And that's why we say the songwriters are the unsung heroes, because they do not get any lump sum,
right,
at any one point in time.
No dub plate money, no stage show money.
No, nothing like that. Nothing like that. Because even though I write the song, when you go do the dub plate, I as a songwriter not getting from that.
Right.
When you are hired as the performer to go and perform on stage, I'm not getting off that. Right. So that
and
is
oftentimes the producer the producer doesn't see from that too, oftentimes.
No. Different income stream.
Right.
Right.
Now, another thing is this too. When music is sent over, and I mean 2022, I will commend a lot of the players in the industry for being a lot more, I'm not going to use the word educated, but enlightened than their predecessors, right? They are aware of certain things. Now, being aware of it and being educated on it, two totally different things, but they are aware. But the stuff comes to me and, it's asked for me to share it with particular people, which I do because I want them to get as much traction as I can. How much of the material that's being sent out from members of yours don't have ISRC codes in and a proper tracking mechanism? So even if it is getting traction here or there, or whatever the case may be, it's not going to show up on a digital sheet because what they send to whomever is not properly tagged.
So the system we work with CSCAP is that once we register a song, we have to put in the ISRCC, which is the work code. The recording code would be from jams. However, we do insist now, because with the new system, Wiper Connect, you have to put in both. So I will say through JACAP, your work, once it's registered in our system, your work will be fully. It will have both the ISRC code and the ISWC code. But to go back to your question, a lot of persons don't even know what that is. Because when they come, we said, what is your ISRC code? They don't know what it is. We have to educate them, and we also have to send them to go and tell them where they have to get it. The ISWC code, we generate it from our system in-house. So that's not a problem. But again, it goes back to education. And again, it also goes back to, they will give the distributors their song. And I found this happened, and I had to assist one of our members to resolve it, where the distributor themselves, in each country where they distribute, they give it a different ISRC code. You understand? I don't know why. I won't say why. I'm really not interested why, right? But so we have to tell them, no, you get your own code and give it to the distributor. Don't allow the distributor to get the ISRC code for you. So again, it comes down to education.
Gotcha. The thing that I gather the most and appreciate the most is the fact that you are willing to educate even those who are not members, right? Because again, the volume of songwriters, by way of being artists or otherwise, we are a nation that, we co-write for people. We are not big on a professional songwriter, so to speak. But the fact that you, excuse me, take the time and the effort to educate those who are not members, does that work in the favor of JACAP, that you're using the resources from members to help and educate non-members? Are those non-members becoming members? Is it turning around? Are we seeing are we seeing them becoming members so that we can contribute back to the pot, or is members a lose them thing for nothing?
Well, I'm sure that we would say our members, our earning members, would appreciate that we do that, because also remember, that on the corner they go and they find them as well. And we are big on mentorship. We ask our members, especially board members, to assist in mentoring the younger ones who would have come in, and that is where our forum come about. And also when we go out in the public sphere, our directors go and help to assist. But most importantly, those persons who they do become member. 80% of them become members. Okay? But then there is the other side of it, where they don't earn for a year or two, because again, expectations. So they leave and they go to BMI, because of course the uneducated who is educated, because they think they know, say, no man, come to BMI, etc. And then they go BMI and they still don't earn, and they become very frustrated. They're extremely frustrated, because a lot of the younger persons don't understand that the hit is not going to come overnight. Some persons have been in the industry 10, 15 years before, according to them, according to our culture, them boss. And then they make a money, and then they continue to earn. You have to do what you have to do in any industry. Because even if you're a bank teller, for you to reach and to get promoted, you have to educate yourself. You have to go to get certification. There's a lot of things you have to do in that industry. So you have to get things behind your name, the FSA and etc., ACCA, etc., before, which takes probably 5-6 years before you reach to even becoming a middle manager. It's the same thing in the industry. You have to learn the industry that you're in and do what it is that is required. Do the work, and then you will see, and you will see what the benefit is at the end of the day. It might not work for everybody, but those who really work at it, they do come out on top at the very end. Okay, so it is not a JACAP thing, and it's not or other society at jams, or the literary society a jam copy thing, because at the end of the day, we can only do so much that we are empowered to do. Everything else is within your power to do, because you cannot be a farmer without you go learn how to till the soil.
Right.
Any industry you go in, you have to ensure that you educate yourself. And you did say something important, that persons, they become aware of something, but then they don't educate themselves fully. But they would say, no man, when I talk to them, no man, I know about that. And then if you continue, you said, okay, but what is performance rights and mechanical rights? And break down the rights for me. They can't do it.
Right.
They don't know the different type of rights that one song embody. And then they will just say to you, oh man, my publisher have that platform already, or my manager is taking care of that, and etc. etc. And then they same one will come and say, me just fire the manager because I realize that the manager don't know. It's not even Rob. The manager don't know what they're supposed to know.
Happens every day.
Yes, I had a member who came in with the manager and sat in front of me. And when I asked, are you registering the songs? Are you doing so and so? And not happening. Within 2 weeks, they wrote a letter. He's no longer my manager. Do not send. You understand what I'm saying? So educating yourself, empowerment, empower yourself is key. And that is what I would say to the listeners out there. Empowerment.
Yeah, we need that. We need that. If I'm, and correct me if I'm wrong, did I gather a little earlier that you do have the capability, JACAP does have the capability of collecting royalties for people who are not members?
Yes, all right. We collect, right? So I'll give you a typical example. RGR will pay us, right? And then, of course, we will have all the logs. On the logs, invariably, there will be persons who are not members of JACAP, who are not members of any society. And the international system allows this.
Right.
Right? When we now do payout, we are able to see the names who are not member of any society, and we're able to reach out to them.
Right.
And as I said, you have internationally, you have 3 years where you can become a member of any society, and then that money is paid out. Right? Because we call it pending identification. So that pool of work sits there as pending identification. BMI does it, ASCAP does it. In fact, on the CSAC, every society is obligated to send out their pending identification, so that each society can look to say, oh, but this person, because sometimes you do have where you have a member, but it's CA, we call it CAE, but its IPI number would have been entered incorrectly by whoever would have entered that work. Okay, so, and then he probably would have fallen no society. We have an obligation to go through each pending identification to ensure that we identify who are our members, and if they are not members, we let them know that money is sitting here for you. You need to become a member.
Gotcha. So I'm kind of aware of what happens to unclaimed funds from on the international scene from the BMIs and the ASCAPs of the world when they collect it and there's nowhere to disperse it. From a JACAP vantage point, if JACAP is collecting on behalf of somebody who's not a member, the hope is that, I mean, if you're calling me and telling me, listen, I got 5 G's for you. You know what I mean? But membership is 2,500, whatever. But it might not be up to that. So if you collect on behalf of me and I never become a member, what happens to those? What happens to
that money after the 3 years or the 5 years or for whatever your society's distribution policy is, it goes back into distribution
to other artists.
It goes back into the distribution to be distributed to the next time you are paying out. Okay. So if it is that G. Cole is a member of JACAP and 2010, you got your payment, we have some pending funds sitting down and they expired in 2012. Then if it is that you are going to be paid from the distribution, you would also get some of that pending identification money.
And if G. Cole is just not a member, not becoming a member, I'm stupid.
Then you would lose out. You are not going to get anything. Persons who are a member is going to share in that money.
Right.
Right. And just to advise also that the CSAC do allow for some of that PI fund to go for societies. Well, I can speak for JACAP, where we can use a 10% to do the education that we want, to the forums that we want, etc.
Right. But the first step would be for JACAP though, is which I think is what you're saying. If you did collect some G Code funds, your first step is you reach out and say, G,
Yeah,
you need
man.
to. I got some dough for you. You need to
Yes,
sign up.
yes. That's what we do. Quite a few of our members have become members through that process.
I like it. Sound like a nice way to recruit. So now I can put gas in my plane. Um, let me ask you this: can one, if somebody's already a member of one of the other entities, the ASCAP, the BMI scenario,
Mhm.
um, can they still become a member of JCAP?
Yes.
They
And
can.
that was a decision taken by the board that we call it split membership.
Mhm.
So
Is
you
that
can
recent
get
or has that been that way?
for the past 20 from 2013, it has been
Mhm.
that way. Because as you know, copyright and collective management have evolved,
Mm,
especially in Europe, where the directives are that actually those societies now if they're competing for membership.
right,
So you cannot. Before it was you're a member of PRS, you remain a PRS member. No,
right.
things have evolved where you can say to PRS, only collect my repertoire for the UK only. I will have ASCAP collect for the rest of the world, right?
Okay.
And the international system that we're a part of designates you accordingly. So
So
quite
they
a
can.
few, yes, so quite a few persons in Jamaica, the bigger artists would say, okay, you collect for us for the Caribbean,
Right.
and I will have another society collect my international funds for the rest of the world, for whatever reason. Okay, and we also say to persons who we encourage to join. But if we collect your money here in Jamaica, we are going to send it over to BMI. So we take out our admin rate. BMI is also going to take out their admin rates and then send it right back to you here in Jamaica.
Mhm.
That is two admin rates. So have us only collect for you here if that's what you want,
Mhm.
and then it would only be our admin rates, and then you get your funds.
And I presume
So that would
you're.
be an advantage for you.
I got you. So and you're what you're saying pretty much, and what people need to grasp is you are confident in enough in what you do that you are just as effective, if not more so, at retrieving those revenues on behalf of your members, as would a BMI, as was an ASCAP.
Of course, but I'm more than confident, totally confident, because as I said, we do that for their repertoire here in Jamaica. So why would we not do it and even do it better for the Jamaicans that we have here?
Right, right, right. Let's do this. I am going to put here because, of course, the folks I must say, all right, John, no, start them and if you link them. What's the phone number that then? What's JCAP's phone number?
94876 948
948
6459.
876 nine
No, let
four
me go
eight
again. 876 948 5937.
5937.
Yes, and then we have 876 948 6439.
All right, I'm pretty old. You're going to have to give me the one there one more time. 876, the second
Nine
one.
four eight
Mm-hmm.
6439.
6439.
39.
And
Yes.
those are the numbers they need to call to one,
Right.
become a member, or just to
Mhm.
get some education, which will
Yes.
probably enlighten
Yes.
them into as to why
Uh,
they should become a
yeah.
member.
And in fact, all our members who are currently listening to this program, we also want you to call us to give us back your contact information, right? A lot of person would have changed their number, would have changed their address, would have changed their email. Where I'm using this forum to reach out to say, just call us. Just can email us on jcap@jamaica.com and just say, look, this is my contact information. Just ensure that what you have, this is what it is.
All right. Do me a favor. Give me that email address again, please.
It's jcap, JACAP,
Mhm.
at JACAP Jamaica, spelled out JACAPJAMAICA.com.
They can reach out there, and by the sounds of things, you're saying that you guys are quite, what I mean, on the ball. You can respond to them real fast. I love
We
it.
will. We have a policy where we have to respond to queries within 3 days and
Okay.
less than.
I like it.
Yes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there it is running across your screen. All right, those are the phone numbers. All right, you can say Lydia told you about it right here on Homegrown with G Cole. Call and get your things sorted out. It's a host of questions, but I personally, honestly, I wanted to not necessarily address the questions per se, as much as
Mhm.
give you the opportunity to express, because it's you know,
Express.
then we get into debates and dialogues, right?
Yes.
We
But I'm
will
willing to come back another night
we're gonna do that one, yeah.
sometime in July where we just have a question and answer session.
So what
We
we
can
gonna
do
do
that.
is this: in July, when you come
I,
into the studio live, and then we'll take the
can we-
calls coming in.
yes, and we have a question and answer session. I love those sessions.
Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. All right, because a bunch of artists say, you know, oh, I think I'm playing a JCap while going. But again, for all you know, they may have collected some stuff, but you're not a member, and for some reason, like you said, I'm not gonna say the phone call wasn't made, but like you just said, which makes perfect sense, because there's very few people I know. I've had the same phone number since I was 18 years old, but there are very few people I know, especially in Jamaica, who keep that phone number the past 2 years,
Correct.
right?
Correct. In
Email
fact,
addresses.
we have royalties, and we have reached out to persons who are members, and we're not getting through to them. That's why I'm using this medium as well.
All right,
You
well,
know, just call us. Just call us. If you're a member, just call and say, yeah, what
right.
is happening? Even if it is not that we have royalties for you, it might be something else you want clarified. It might be something you want us to help you with. Anything. Just give us
Right.
a call.
And you're
Give
not
us a
opposed to
shout
having
out.
that convo, which is something I really
No,
love.
no, we're
I
not
mean, I could
opposed.
ask the people here on the program, because verbal contracts they're very valid. If them want, you could probably give it to me. You know what I mean? Send over the thing them to me. Rather than get wasted, G Cole will collect those revenues, and then I will be able to vote. And I will get them the money, but I'll be able to vote to say, you know something, the money was there. So since I collected all of this, it might be in your best interest to know, sign up with JCap. You want to try that? Can we try that?
No,
Is that an option?
no,
Hey,
no, not an option.
hey, I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm
Not
trying.
an option.
I want to say thank you.
Yes.
First of all, again, like I said, by design, I wanted to make sure you had the opportunity to speak. And then, like I said, we're gonna have that question and answer forum, because believe it or not, there's a lot of people who will ask me the question and probably won't ask you for some reason. I don't know why. You know, ask me, but I'm not gonna ask the powers that be, the people who really have the answers. So I think while you're here and we can chop it up and whatnot, then they'll be more comfortable. Because again, you know, you have on a JCap on your shirt, they look a little intimidating. You know what I mean?
All right, next time I'll just come neutral.
From this, yeah, you know, like I said, the music police, but they don't
No,
realize
but
that.
it's important to the branding.
I love
Very
it. That is
important,
true. That is
right?
true.
I represent JACAP.
That is true. That is true. And I don't even want to see as a police now. I want to see as a security guard, because you know you're just working on behalf of one set of people. You know, the cops work for everybody. So
No, that is why we're the music police. We work for everybody.
all the radio station them too.
Yes, of course.
Fire. For
Remember,
real?
you have to pay us to pay our members, so we have to work with you.
John, no, it makes sense.
Most importantly, you
It
are
makes
very
sense.
important to us.
It makes sense. It
Yes.
makes sense. I dig that. I dig that.
Yes. Very
Well,
important.
I love it.
Yes.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate
Yes.
you so much.
No.
Looking forward to more conversations. And like I said, the platform is open. It is information that a lot of folks need to know, from the consumers to the radio. I beat, because in our industry, again, we point fingers and it's pointed in one direction all the time. Me, Fireball, I'll fund them doing it, because at the end of the day, I think we got some of the worst, right? Want to hear the music, want to criticize the music, no one buy the music, but that's a different show,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
So looking forward to having more conversations with you, explaining and expressing a lot more to the masses,
Yes.
and just getting some education for myself.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me. It was a
Pleasure.
pleasure. And as usual, JCAP and my directors and my staff, we want to say really a big shout out to you, because you have given us a forum, you have given us a voice. And the more of these forums, places that we can speak and educate, as you said, it's really appreciated. Because, of course, you know, when persons think that, okay, they know it, but they're willing to just listen to persons who have influence in the industry, as you would. You have your own platform to speak. So on behalf of us all at JCAP, I really want to thank you.
Pleasure's mine. Pleasure's mine. And thank you so much on behalf of Jamaicans.com, Homegrown with G Cole, and everybody. And ladies and gentlemen, again, it's a Lydia on the streets with our JCAP shirt on. Be nice. All right. Be nice. All you know, she might be a black belt. You never know. Be nice. That's all I got to say.
No, just
Thank you.
ensure you come and ask questions, and I'm willing to answer.
I love it.
For sure.
And call the number
Alright.
running across the screen, send the emails, and that's a good thing about it, is that it's probably a bit, you know, you're at the grocery store, you your family, can't answer the questions, then email, make a call, and you'll make sure that they get their questions answered.
Yes, yeah,
Much
definitely.
love.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
And there you have it. Thank you so much for tuning in. It has indeed been a pleasure. Remember, the podcast Homegrown with G. Cole is available on iTunes, Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Radio.com, YouTube, wherever you listen to your podcast. We're there. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check out homegrownwithgcole.com to see all things homegrown. And remember, this interview is available on YouTube so you can watch live. Be safe, be kind, be good to each other. My name is G. Cole, and this is Homegrown.
Nakikinig ka sa música Homegrown with G. Cole.
Estás escuchando Homegrown con G. Cole.
您现在正在收听的是 Homegrown with G. Cole.
You're listening to Homegrown with G. Cole.
Remember, all the music played here on the podcast Homegrown with G. Cole is available on iTunes, Spotify, and all your digital retailers. Please support the artist.